Jason, are tariffs justified? And your answer was, if they were temporary and got a better deal from China, they might be justified. But you're worried that President Trump's actually starting to like the tariffs and they could be semi-permanent, and that you couldn't go along with. Have I got that right?
Yeah, I don't think there's an obvious economic answer. I think everyone agrees these tariffs are bad for the U.S. economy, but we're trying to get something good for the U.S. economy in the form of a better deal with China.
Well said.
And you have to balance those two. I think the badness is about half a point off our GDP growth. I've seen very few convincing evidences of the goodness of what we're going to get out of a better deal with China. I think it'll be a slightly better deal. I think this strategy might work. I just don't know that the difference between what China was offering us and what we're going to get is so great that it's going to outweigh the hit to growth. And by the way, the markets seem to agree with me. When they do their present value calculations, they seem to think this strategy is a net negative for the U.S.
So, Jason, we had a gentleman on earlier from, I can't remember, one of these tax institutes or something, and he actually referenced this study from the Coalition for a Prosperous America. I know you've probably seen it, which they take a counter view that it's possible that instead of losing jobs, that if some of this stuff works, that you could actually gain jobs from the tariffs. But I think the previous gentleman, you have to make some assumptions that some people won't make. Like we could have 3% growth for 5 years, things like that. Is there any way, and they call themselves a CPA, which is, they sound like accountants, which would be bad, but it's not. It's a Coalition for a Prosperous America. It's a bipartisan group, but a lot of manufacturers and people that have been hurt over the years from some of these policies from China. Is there any way that there could be an actual net benefit to job creation from tariffs?
No. I mean, that's
Impossible.
like saying the earth is flat. And, your former colleague, Larry Kudlow, would have exactly... What?
No, I heard what I saw the interview with Larry that you're referring to. Yes.
Yeah, your former colleague, Larry Kudlow, sees it the same way that I do. Tariffs are like a tax increase. They're done in a sort of random, stupid way. They raise costs for American consumers. They also raise input costs for American businesses. And when you get retaliation, they hurt our exporters and farmers.
Jason,
so this is not good for the economy in and of itself. It's only justified if it gets us something better.
The pickup industry in the United States is dominant, some people think, because it has had tariff protection for, 60 or 70 years.
Oh, sure, it can help certain industries, absolutely. But it hurts other industries, and the net is a negative for the U.S. economy.
So, Jason, I want to ask, though, you say it's not good for the economy, and I think I come from the same point you do, but long term, don't you think it's an economic benefit if we're able to extract the kinds of concessions from the Chinese on all that they've been requiring in terms of limiting market access, the IP theft, the tech transfer, forced localization? I mean, these are the things that the administration is trying to achieve. Ultimately, that is a benefit to the economy, correct?
Absolutely. And I think the question is, how much of a benefit is that compared to the cost now? You would expect short-run pain in GDP and a long-run benefit in GDP. The market, though, should be forward-looking. So you don't see the market saying, wow, we're so excited he's toughened up his stance on China. This is going to increase our long-run profits, and that's going to more than make up for the short-run pain. Every time he ratchets up the trade war, the market goes down. They're saying they don't believe what you just said matters.
And Jason, I mean, we're a couple of points off an all-time high in the face of what people that I know people. Every time we get a 1 or 2% drop in the Dow, they're so quick to point the blame at Trump for his tariff moves, and it just simply hasn't gone down to the. I mean, it's always the counterfactual with a lot of people in this business, and the counterfactual is we're 2 or 3 points off an all-time high in the face of the possibility of 25% tariffs on everything from China. So that the market is acting well.
Look. But have you ever seen a day where the market went up on news of an escalation in the trade war because they thought this was going to lead to a better resolution? I haven't seen that happen.
I have seen a December low where we've seen a 17% bounce off it while the tariff and the trade war was going on, and all the Fed had to do was say that they're patient, and we got a 20% gain off of that.
Can we agree on one thing?
But insofar as the market's been
tariff
rendering a verdict on this sort of short versus long run, they seem to be rendering the verdict that they think the gains just aren't worth it.
I don't.
Can we agree on one thing, that the tariffs make China less competitive in America? Yes or no?
Absolutely. This is going to hurt the Chinese more than it's going to hurt us.
That's a good beginning. The fact is, I don't think anybody with any half a brain is going to say tariffs are good. Tariffs are not good. We learned that the hard way. We learned that in the 20s and 30s. We've learned that lesson, and it stays with us. The fact of the matter is, you're dealing with a nation who believes in time periods significantly longer than us. Meanwhile, frankly, we're being hollowed out by their behavior, whether it's the disrespect of patent laws, whether it's forced joint ventures. I can write down a list of things. I think we've got to take a pause here on not trying to measure every single thing we do. This, to me, is a negotiating tactic. This is what this is right now. Okay, China, you backed off. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. We got to do something, China. You're not going to get a free ride, as they have for many years in the past.
Leader Cantor, do you agree with Ken that this is a negotiating tack, or do you think that there's a more permanent idea in the minds of the administration about erecting tariffs to help U.S. industries capture some of the business back from China?
I think this is absolutely a negotiating tactic to get and achieve the end, to get a level playing field again. I mean, we've been playing in an imbalanced context for decades now, and this is what the president's continued to say, and I think the administration absolutely is focused on extracting the concessions from Beijing that they've said they are, and then get us back to a world in which there aren't tariffs. But we got a long way to go.
Exactly.
How long?
I said earlier, Steve, I think we're in this for a while, because it's
Years?
not it's not easy.
And does it bother you as the former leader of the House that a major revenue bill has been enacted that Congress did not specifically vote on?
Well, as you know, the president back in the 70s, the Congress gave the executive
but it's never been
branch
used this
the
way, to this
statutory
extent.
authority to.
But never been used to this extent. You tell me, Ken, what does the Constitution say about revenue? What does it say?
I also
What
said,
does it say?
I also said earlier, if we've got an existential question in terms of threatening our national well-being and security, which is our economic security, that it is incumbent upon the president to step up.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
Jason
Furman, thank you.
Jason from the People's Republic of Cambridge, not the People's Republic. Are you up there today, Jason? I didn't.
I'm actually down in Washington today.
Oh, you're in D.C. Okay,
and,
the other. Same difference. The Beltway. All right, good. Anyway, but you do spend a lot of time up there. You live in Fresh Pond, Jason? Where do you live?
Sort of near that direction, near Harvard Square.
Near Harvard. I think I asked you that.
Come visit Joe. I'll take you to lunch.
Up there. I do. I got a lot of places I love.
I can give you a tour.
Go to Joyce Chen's. Is Joyce Chen still around up there?
Clothing store?
No, it's a
not sure.
great Chinese restaurant. Yeah, it was when I went to school.